The Dallas Mavericks sell away game 4 in horrible, horrible fashion. That was just an absolute slog fest, gross basketball game to watch. Like, it felt like it dragged on forever. And I love basketball. Like, I can watch it all day. But it felt like that game took 6 hours between commercial breaks and free throws and runs by the other team. I mean, this last 16 minutes of this game, it just felt like it was all thunder. Like, we had no answers. I mean, yeah, we had shots here or there, and we had, dunks in the last few seconds to put us within 2 points that lobbed to Derrick Jones Jr. But, I mean, it never should have came to that, bro. We were up 14-10 for the majority of this game, and we just sold it entirely. Like both of the stars were nowhere to be seen. Luka misses a free throw to tie the game. Kyrie Irving is not looking for a shot the same way he usually does because the Thunder are showing 2 defenders to him, and he's having to pass out of double teams, and he's doing a good job of doing that. But at the end of the day, who would you rather shoot? Derrick Jones Jr. on the wing for 3 or Kyrie Irving literally anywhere with any defender in his face? I will take Kyrie Irving every single day. But we did everything right until about 9 minutes left in this game. That's not even true. With like 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in the third quarter, I tweeted out something like, this game is not over and it's stressing me out. Do you see how stressed I am? That was an obnoxious game. And I was right to be stressed. I mean, it just felt like the Thunder wouldn't go away. They wouldn't go away the whole night. But we were keeping them at like 10 to 14 points. And I felt all right about it. Like in the first half, I felt like we were winning this game all day. I really did. Like, even when we were up 11, I was just like, yeah, I mean, I've watched us throw leads like this before, but, I mean, this was the worst loss of the season. I understand, like, there's the Max Strus 74-foot boogie bomb, which is fucking terrible, and I don't even like thinking about it, but as far as, like, importance, this doesn't even compare. Like, we could have gone up 3-1 against the 1 seed, and now it's 2-2 going back to OKC, and not only did you lose it in dramatic fashion in which you threw the game for the last quarter and a half, felt like it was pretty much just the entire fourth quarter. We just couldn't get it going on the offensive end. Our defense wasn't even that bad. Shea was making tough shot after tough shot after tough shot. And that's what you have to force him to do. Like, you just have to force Shea into tough shots. And I felt like we kept away from the rim for the majority of the game. We kept J-Dub away from the rim for the majority of the game. Like, we did a good job protecting the rim. Shea just kept knocking down tough mid-rangers, and we just couldn't buy a bucket on the other end. All Mavs fans are talking about how the torture chamber doesn't exist. He low-key had Luka clamped today. Like, really, every time Luka tried to blow past him, tried to make a move into the lane, he was right there. Whether he was going to foul him, whether he was going to ride him the entire way through the lane, he was there the entire time. And I'm not saying that Lu Dort is some amazing, like, unforeseen defender Luka's never scored against. Like, we've seen Luka torch guys much better than Lu Dort, but Lu Dort did a really good job on him tonight. Frustrating him, Luka was bitching at the refs the entire game. You know it's going bad for the Dallas Mavericks when Luka is bitching at the refs for an entire half. Like, I get it. The refs were bad in certain spots tonight, and they should have called that J-Dub double dribble. I haven't seen a replay of it, so I guess I don't entirely know whether it was deserving of being called the double dribble, but in live play, it looked like a double dribble. No call. Luke is frustrated about that. Rightfully so, in my opinion, but what are you going to do about it? You know what I mean? Like, refs are not perfect. We've been over this. Like, it feels like the refs are such a big factor of the NBA playoffs this year. And a lot of the times they don't have to be. Like, they're not going to get every call right. I mean, that's just honesty. Like, they're just not going to get every call right. And Shea getting the lane and getting fouls that he probably doesn't deserve, that's kind of like, there's still 1 or 2 a game where you're just like, holy shit, like, that's not a foul for anyone else in the NBA. But you go on the other end and Luka's, whining about the same thing. And it's like, all right, like, at some point, it's not the refs. We're just selling the basketball game. It felt like this was our chance to put the series away, and now it's just wide open. And we have to go into OKC in game 5 and win that game. Because statistics say, and they've been over this a million times when we go into game 5s, just like the Clippers series, 82% of the time a team wins game 5, they win the series. So this is pretty much the series this next game on Wednesday. And we got to somehow make adjustments to score better, which is not Jason Kidd's specialty, by the way. And we did just fine scoring in other games, especially these last two. Like before this game, I felt like we were just fine. Usually I come on here with like some statistics and like, here's why we didn't play well, or here's why, Kyrie Irving couldn't get it going tonight, or here's why Luka Doncic couldn't get it going tonight. Realistically, it's the exact same things that have been plaguing us in game one. We just couldn't buy a fucking bucket. Luka looks hurt and he's in his own head about the refs. And it's just frustrating basketball to watch because this is a game in the regular season after the trade deadline where you're like, Mavs win this 9 out of 10 times. And I really think even this game in general, Mavs win it 9 out of 10 times. Just the way we were playing until the fourth quarter. I mean, it was a fucking nightmare to watch. Like probably, like I said, the worst loss of the season. And it's up to the Mavs to be experienced, Kyrie Irving to be a veteran in the locker room and come back and win game 5. And I feel like I only post on this channel to be like negative and shit. I swear I'm not trying to be. It's just a timing thing. Like I just have time to make videos for game 1 and game 4. So I don't know, man. That was so hard to watch. And Shea deserves all the credit in the world for that game. Really. I mean, he made a million tough shots. Like that one on the baseline where he smiled after, he shot it over the backboard pretty much. What are you going to do about that? You know? And something I just want to note, when Jason Kidd goes to his all-defensive lineup, Tim Hardaway Jr. is on the floor. Why? I mean, it was fine. It's not like they scored a bucket or anything, but I feel like all-defensive lineup, like, have Kyrie out there instead of Tim Hardaway Jr., seriously. I mean, Tim Hardaway has quick hands, but his hands aren't as quick as Kyrie Irving. He's got, like, maybe a couple inches of height on him. That's about it. Like, Kyrie is shiftier. This isn't even an argument, bro. I don't even know what to tell Mavs fans. I don't even know where we go from here because it felt like we did everything right and we just couldn't buy a fucking bucket in the fourth quarter. Just couldn't throw it in the ocean. PJ Washington just like disappeared, which I'm not expecting PJ Washington to close games for us. Like I'm expecting Luka and Kyrie to finish games for us. And they've been doing that all season. So when you watch them fail to do that in such a spectacular way, in like missing free throws and floaters that don't even have a fucking chance of going in. They just like Kyrie had a couple floaters in the lane where it's like those are going in and then they just look completely off to the left or right. And I'm like, that's very un-Kyrie Irving like lately. I'll leave it at that. I'm very frustrated because it felt like it was just tough bucket after tough bucket from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and we had no answer. And all of a sudden we just had this urgency like in the middle of like the Thunder's like 9-0 run towards the end of this game where it was like, oh yeah, we're down 5 now. Like, let's wake up and play basketball. Anyway, that's all I got. This was a very non-statistical and ranty video, but I had to get it out. What a terrible loss. Y'all have a good one.